created to have some fun together, sharing and singing. So, join and enjoy.
Our love for opera brings us together. Thanks for being with us in this trip.
So today we are having another episode of our favorite season, Spectacular Singing, and for that purpose we are sharing a song that many people may not be familiar with and that Katya is going to share us and goes like this. And I also think that maybe that not even with those sounds you may be able to recognize it because those notes are not really written in the original version. Not like that, not exactly like that. Written for the original version of the beautiful song under the name Ciribiribin, which, by the way, is also a very funny word. Ciribiribin, ciribiribin. In Italian, it's a song by Maestro Alberto Pestalozza from the region of a singing for the region of Piedmonte, and it has. There's people who say it's very popular. I myself would say it's really not. What do you think, Katya?
I think it's not because I haven't heard like lots of lessons as I've heard from other songs, from other, uh, yeah.
I don't. I have never. Well, we have explained before that there are not many sopranos with coloratura. There are more light or soprano leggere than there are coloraturas. So this one would match soprano leggera. We can talk about it, but not even in her voice. I have never heard it live. Never. You have plenty of Toscas and Bicidartes, and you have Violetas, and you have Mimis, and you have Lius, and you have many other arias for those sopranos, but you never hear this song. You also hear several versions of Neapolitan music, but this, in particular, this song is not a regular for anybody, and I cannot understand why, because it's very lovely. You're about to see that it is a very lovely, in a way, simple song that is not aspiring to make you reflect on the nature and purpose of life or plan for the future or bring you deep in your thoughts so that you can blah blah blah. No, it's just like to relax. I believe that maybe you found it, and I think that's the way you learn. That's how you learned about it by listening to Ernestina Garfias, the Mexican soprano that we have
That's
talked
right.
about in the past. So tell us about it. So you were a young girl, and then you listened to that song and
I'm
said,
still a young girl. What
"Ah,
you
you were
mean?
a younger. Okay, you were a younger girl, a much younger girl, and you told yourself, I'm going to sing that." Or how did it happen?
Well, my father was Ernestina Garcia's fan because she appeared in a couple of movies, Mexican movies. One of them was named Los Niños, Los Valses Vienen de Viena y Los Niños Vienen de París. Kinda. And the other one was ¿Qué tiempo, señor Don Simón? Something like this. There are movies that portrayed the beginnings of the 20th century here in Mexico when we were governed by Porfirio Diaz. So it is important to mention because when we were under, we as a country, as Mexicans, when we were governed by Porfirio Diaz, he brought many ideas from France and from Europe. So it is an important moment in the Mexican music because we take some pieces of the valses and kinda. So my father saw these movies. He loved Garfia's voice, and I don't know how or why, because it is complicated to get. He found an album with many songs sung by her, by Garfias, and that was where I found this lovely song. I love this one because you don't have to understand the language, you don't have to get the deep message of the song. It's just to relax, to enjoy, and that's it. It's pretty simple, but it's beautiful.
And you're right about what you just mentioned. Many people, moreover, there are some people who are younger than us. Believe it or not, there are people who are younger than us. So for those who could be younger than us, they believe that life started when internet started and that you have had access to YouTube for the whole civilization, and that is not true. So you're making reference to times when not everybody, not even sometimes a CD player, you just had the old LPs, which by the way were beautiful, this big, because there were two sizes, the small ones running at 45, if I remember, and the 33 revolutions per minute, which were bigger, but they were in carton and they had a big picture on the front and the side and the name of the content on the other side. They were, these were like sort of your treasures, the treasures families had, and you had the vinyl player. Uh, which was usually in the living room of the family, and so people would the family would be gathered around the that machine so that you could play the records and have nice afternoons. So it was a complete lifestyle. But to get those, you know that online you say, okay, I'm going to pay for Spotify. Oh, I am paying YouTube Music or whatever streaming service, and I have all the music at my hand. Back to those days, there were not even many music stores. And if you were planning to go to a music store, it would be either downtown your city or even coming to Mexico City to find some music. So it is. I wanted to mention it because you painted it as it was very easy, but I know it was not. I mean,
No, it was.
when you said that you don't know how he found that recording, me myself, I don't know how could he have done it because everything back in those days was very very difficult to get. So maybe he paid someone to find the record and had it delivered. We don't know, but it was those were really really hard days if you wanted to
It
get
was
something.
complicated, yes.
And so he was very happy to have his recordings, and that's how you heard it, and you say,
I
"I'm
want to
going."
sing that.
Dad, I'm going to do it. I was wondering because I think I have never asked you when was or if you could share how or when was it the time that you actually told your father, "I want to become a singer,"
I was 5 years old.
and you just said him like, "Hey, Dad, I'm becoming a singer." Ah,
Yes,
yes, yes, got
because
it.
yes, because we were um, listening La Traviata, and it was this part from El Sempre Libera. When I saw the soprano dressed in her red gown, like a queen, and listening her singing like a bird, I said, "Oh my God, I want to do that for the rest of my life," and here I am.
And when your father learned that you had a voice in a way, I'm saying in a way similar to Garfias, but Garfias had a very crystal a very light and a very crystal tone of voice, which of course is not your voice. But when I say similar, is in the sense that you also have the coloratura that was Garfia's expertise. So what was it when your father said, "Wow, and my little daughter is going to sing actually the music that I like"?
Yes, when I sang Chiribiribin for the very first time and he heard that, he was in tears. He loved it.
I do believe it because also something that I didn't mention the last time we talked about Ernestina is that yes, Ernestina was in the movies and she was a beautiful blonde girl, but also many people loved her, actually loved her because she was this let's say she looked like a very approachable woman, not really a diva. It was even though you knew she was an artist and a singer, she was never like Callas, like I'm here and the rest of the world is there. Uh, Ernestina was always like more approachable to or people in Mexico saw her more approachable. And with that in mind, I think that in a way, maybe your father said this was like a dream coming true. You know,
Kind of.
because you say, "Oh, not only do I love this music, but also my little girl is going to be able to sing it." It's like a present, in fact, you see.
Yes.
Because you could have been this immense, powerful human saying, "You know that I'm singing Wagner. I'm the next Valkyria.
Sorry, Dad.
I know you love Ernestina, but no way. I'm I'm Brunilda." So
Take it.
that wouldn't have worked. So why don't we start taking a look at the music now that we have said that it is like for having fun, like for being playful, and this is where I will do my catharsis because I was sharing with Katia since yesterday that that I always review some material prior to the actual recording, and so I spent some time looking for some videos, and we were sharing that you can no longer find Ernestina Garfia's version on the internet, which, from my perspective, is the best one ever recorded. Ernestina's,
I
from
agree.
my perspective, is the best one. So you can find some others, and the results are somewhere between bad, very bad, and sometimes fair.
The worst.
But what really concerns me is that why something so beautiful and gentle cannot be sung that beautifully and gentle. Because we have mentioned many times, if you approach a song like this, like, "Hey, I'm going to show you I have a voice. I'm going to give all the power from the beginning that people realizes that," then you end up singing something that, if it doesn't sound horrible, at least doesn't sound lovely. And that's what I learned yesterday. I love this song because I knew Ernestina's version. Because if I had only heard the ones I heard yesterday, I would have never loved this song for sure.
I wouldn't sing it.
Well, maybe you wouldn't sing it because when it comes to my mind, even if you don't know the words, you can picture the very crystalline voice of Ernestina in your mind. Tra la 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 la. And she's like also like dancing, like floating in the music, and you see her playing and having fun. And when you listen to the other singers, you say, "Man, I am suffering by listening to this song."
Who are you yelling at?
Who- who- why are you doing that to the music and to yourself? Because uh, if you don't give something nice to the people will not remember because of you, will not remember you because of that song. And I think, or I would believe that if you want to take this song, is because you want to make something memorable out of it. No, because they said, you have to sing 10 songs. You have 9 in your recital, then the 10th would be this one. just because you have one number left, or because this is not the hardest one. I would believe that you want to have it. If not in Spanish, we have the expression "caballito de batalla." If not, maybe your super premiere aria or song, but maybe this would be a lovely way to end the presentation because the song is lovely, and I know that people would love it. So if you want to enjoy to engage in this song, it is better that you feel amused and that you're able to pass that. I'm not sure if I would say emotion, but at least that happiness, because the song passes you the feeling of happiness, joy, have fun, be yourself, right? So why don't you start sharing with us how do you engage in the first part, understanding that you're not going to be a lyrical soprano, but that you're going to create fun.
Yes, I think that what helped me in this case is to feel it exactly like a waltz. When you are dancing a waltz, you don't dance tango or a heavier kind of music. You know, it's about floating. Su finisci la colpaci. You don't need to effort in these deep notes because, well, my version has a low C, and if you settle there a lot, the next parts would could feel complicated. So it's just to cross over there. Okay, you gotta be in the right pitch, but you don't need to use a lot your chest voice. Su finisci la corbaci. No need. You're dancing. It's about su finisci la corbaci. And that's it. And it's easy.
Because I believe that the nice part about this song is that this is one of those songs that sort of drive you into the melody. Somehow you are able, if not to predict, to understand and to flow naturally on what is going to come later. And that helps a lot because there are other compositions that are way more complicated. But this la 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 la, and you see la 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 la, like we have played in other episodes with the melody la 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 la, and you're just flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing, and there are parts where you go a little higher, and the part that you just mentioned that you go a little low, which if you ask me, I think it was unnecessary to go that low, but well, I'm not the composer, so something came to his mind when he thought of that. And also, well, since you have a low C, and that, if I recall well, at least in the version that I have, the highest note is C6, that meaning that you have two octaves for the extension of this song, which could be doable provided that you know how to handle your chest voice and that you have a comfortable high C. Because if you don't have a comfortable high C, as we have mentioned in the past, maybe you should not try that line of singing and go for the lower one. However, I think that unless those are my thoughts, not everybody is forced to have a high C. For whatever the reasons, every voice is different, so you won't be able to sing it at the high C with the melody at the line of the high C. So you go for the other that is lower. But if you're not going to sing that note, at least you should be willing to give to your voice the quality of sound that makes it lovable. I'm not sure if I'm explaining well. Okay, you cannot reach the impressive high note, which high C is not super high, but well, you don't get to that height. But
That is the beginning, though.
but you are in a lower line, so it is not that impressive. But if it is not impressive in the pitch, at least you can do it very nicely, very lovable, that people can be attached to the song.
Because indeed it is originally written in not high notes. In the middle part where we will see ahead, we have uh, the part that I just sang but higher. So it is just to relax, to play, to flow with. So there's no need to have that comfortable high C. If you have it, well, you could do this kind of ornaments as Garfias did, but no need actually.
And there are three times. Let me share that on the screen very quickly. Um, Here it is. There it goes. I think you can see it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you reach that part of the chiribiribin, 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 if you see it, you repeat it 4 times. And when we have mentioned in the past that when you repeat something several times, you want to make sure that it sounds kind of different, so that it doesn't sound monotonous, right? So it's not chiribiribin, 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 because by the fourth time everybody's going to, okay, why is that woman repeating chiribiribin so many times in the
Yeah.
same way? And fortunately, the word chiribiribin allows to be playful. Because I
That's right.
recall in Garfia's version that she also plays with the words "chiribiribin, chiribiri." She's playing with the duration of some of these syllables to make it more interesting, because otherwise it sounds like a repetition of the same thing, and again sounds monotonous, and people tends to get bored. So whoever, I'm not sure to what extent Ernestina collaborated in the arrangements in the for her version. I i tend to think that she collaborated a lot.
A lot. Yes.
I don't think she just gave it to a musician and said, arrange it for me. I think she was like, no, why don't we add a staccati here? Why don't we add these high notes here? Then why I'm not keeping this, that? I think she was very actively working in the song, because her version, I would like to call it unique.
Yeah.
And I would say it's unique because there are lots of things that are added, that are poured into the version of the song, that other singers don't do. And it is
And I
better.
think that it feels that fits totally to her voice, so it's like personalized completely.
Yeah, it's like it was written for her. That's what I feel. It's like uh, Garfias was born for singing her version of the Chiribiribin.
I agree.
Those are my thoughts, because from my perspective also, and this is becoming sort of a program of Chiribiribin, Garfia's Chiribiribin, rather than just the Chiribiribin. But because at some point when she's finishing, you feel like, oh my God, it's done. I want to have it more. Do another repetition. Put more variations. I haven't had enough of this.
The capo.
The capo, yeah. And I think that it's very unfortunate that you cannot find it now on YouTube, because if you don't know her version, I really think, I'm not sure if it might be available on Spotify. Probably not, because Spotify has a very poor catalog on music. I think we have never mentioned it, but if I want to find good versions of whatever opera or singer is, it's never on Spotify.
No.
It's always the same, and you play, I'm going to listen to Carmen. The mezzo is horrible, the tenor is horrible, the baritone is even worse because they get the recordings, I don't know, maybe the cheapest one on the market with an orchestra where the conductor doesn't even understand the composer. So I never go to Spotify. I'm really not sure where you could find Ernestina's version because it's really worth
No, I
listening
don't.
to it. Now, as for the ornaments, and I'm not sure if I should even leave it on the screen because probably with your own variations doesn't really match what we have on the score. Would you like to share something around the part where you reach uh, the ornaments? Anything in particular that you love to do? Any word of advice?
Well, I think that it is interesting that yes, there are ornaments, but there are like very delicate and fancy ornaments because even when she has these high notes, you don't feel you are listening Rossini or something from bel canto. You still feel the sense of the music. It's still uh, a Napolitan song, and I think that it has to do with the style, with the genre, and it's something that we don't usually, as singers, respect, and that's something that we have also talked about in this program. Please respect the style.
Yeah, and personally, provided that I am not a coloratura soprano,
Really?
I don't think it is particularly difficult because many times we have talked about the singer, sorry, the composer is not loving the singer the opportunity for breathing. You have like 8, 10 bars, and you keep singing and singing and singing, and he never gives you a rest so that you can catch some breath. And you have to play a trick, so maybe the final note you finish half of the time before so that you can catch some breath and start immediately. So you learn to do some tricks. But here, the way it is composed, I don't think it puts you at risk, at least from the perspective of managing the air. Or do you feel anything different?
Well, yes, in this case, I think that is challenging exactly the point when you don't have many high notes as a light soprano, be moving in the middle part or in the lowest part could be complicated. Even when you don't have to sound like Sorastro. But to be singing here, it's not probably the most comfortable song for you. So, for me, in my case, uh, it's nice to find some parts with an E, with an G. It's like when you are swimming and go up and take some air. That's the way I understand this part because we have it's in the middle part, but it's not the most comfortable part of our voice, being honest. And then you move to a highest part of your voice that feels comfortable. That's another kind of rest, honestly.
Also, I think that even if we said it is playful and it is giving you enough room for breathing, I also think that it is for well developed voices because you need to be comfortable. You even if you don't have and you don't need, as you explained, you don't need a powerful low C as you have it at the beginning,
Yeah.
but you need to know how to handle it. And then you're going to be in a for a part of the song in the middle register, which is usually tiring, and then you will go to the surface to take some breath, play there, but then going to go back here and go back there, and it is moving from there to there. But you need to have a your voice needs to be developed so that you are comfortable, because I believe that this could be the kind of song that you could give to a beginner singer, but I think that would make her life miserable because she needs to find how to make her voice sound nice and playful. And when you have in your mind, the pitch, the duration, the key, this and this and this and this and this, the last thing that comes to your mind is how to sound playful.
Yeah.
That is like for later, now that you have all of that, then you can start sort of giving emotion to your notes.
Yes.
And so
Upset.
that's why I would say I wouldn't say it is for a beginner singer, but what do you think?
I think that I would only give a beginner singer Martinillo because in some way this is a tricky song because even if you are not singing the highest C as I did, if you are just beginning uh, to sing this E flat, this G, is where your voice starts to sound a little gelled. Because if it's not flexible enough, these still mid notes, but when you are just starting, feels like high notes. You scream here, and it will be not nice. It will be not fancy. It will not sound as an elegant song. So everybody's gonna suffer. Your public, you, and your teacher.
And now that also that you mentioned it, it is like I'm going to make a compare it to the Caro Nome, to the Gualtier Malde, because once you reach also that part, people suffers, your teacher suffers, you the singer suffer, because you see in your mind how you're trying to reach as if it was a glass, when you go for all your high notes, but you know that it is not sounding like that. You want to sound as pure and perfect as a crystal, but it doesn't sound like that, and everybody's, oh my god, what is that lady doing? In a way that is
Yes.
how it is similar to this one. You go to your high notes, but you touch them nicely, clearly, comfortable, playful, go back, then go back to playing, and then everybody enjoys and say, hey, more, 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 more.
Yes, and when you are starting, you can't also have so many. You don't have so much control of your voice. You don't have crescendos enough. You don't have decrescendos enough. And if you try to make four different chitty bitty beats, you will not success with it. Chitty bitty beat, chitty bitty beat, chitty bitty beat, and everything is gonna sound the same. You need an elastic voice for chitty bitty beat, chitty bitty beat, chitty bitty beat. And if you are singing for the last 3 months of your life, well, that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that, well, as we were opening the program, I would like to insist on that now that we are about to wrap up. This is one of the songs that I would really love to see more often on stage. really, really, I would love, provided that we have a good singer on stage, because if we don't, then it's going to be a horrible experience, as I was sharing with my the recordings I heard yesterday. But I think it's time well invested. I mean, if you asked me, what do you prefer? Everybody wanting to sing una voce poco fa, or that they also include something like the Ciribiribin. I would rather have them sing Ciribiribin instead of everybody trying to be una voce poco fa, right?
Of course. Yes.
I think that that is also another conversation. Now that today is the 13th program of the
My God.
season on spectacular singing, so it's already a year that Katia started sharing with us her repertoire. And as you can see, the repertoire for a coloratura is more than the 3 or 4 areas that everybody knows. So far
Thanks God.
we have reached 13, and as I have shared with Katia, the number is still very big. There are many, many, many things that are having written for this tessitura, and when you do them nicely, you always you will always have the opportunity to appreciate that ornaments, of course, are for showcasing what you can do. But as you have seen in this past year, we have also learned that they can also pass a very warm poem, a very nice message, that there can be content. So, seeing coloratura just as pyrotechnics and easy things to make people clap is short-sighted. The coloratura repertoire is very, very wide. It covers emotions, it covers spectacular singing, of course, but you can be spectacular and at the same time pass a beautiful message or a beautiful melody and feeling fine when singing Chiribiribin.
Yes. I would like to add that the very first time that I approached to the idea of coloratura, it was in a book, and it mentioned that it is a voice that colors the music. So it's not just about pyrotechnics, as you just mentioned. It could be a more simple line, but you have to impress your color in this line, in this melody, in this music. So I think that yeah, there are high notes and ornaments, but even in something easier, you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you always have a lot of work to do, and I think that could be particularly difficult sometimes for coloraturas because they are seen just as emitters of high notes and impressive sounds. But more than that, coloratura sopranos are artists. That,
We are human beings too.
and you are humans, yeah, right. And so that is important to consider because sometimes people said, but Adele is just to make us have fun and have a laughter at the Fledermaus. But try it yourself. Try to make people have fun, and you're going to see that it's not that easy. It always needs the human touch to make it different and to make people so that you can make actually people have fun. Any final word, Katia, as we're wrapping up?
Well, probably this time I wouldn't add something in words. I would like to sing the end.
Please.
Let me check my score. Che per facin che sguardo dolce da sassin che che sguardo dolce d'assa sì.
You can follow our channel for the latest updates and more content. Opera We Love Singing, in just one word. Link in the description of the episode.